her fan base of being racist. They investigated it. They said those accusations were false. The least that she could do is apologize to our great state and the fans that show up at these games and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Obviously, she's not going to do that. But also, Dan, why isn't the Indiana Fever apologizing to their own fan base for putting them through that, for going through those types of accusations? I mean, those are awful accusations. They weren't true. The fans weren't shouting racial slurs toward Angel Reese or opposing players. I mean,
Senator Jim Banks continues pressing Angel Reese for an apology regarding Caitlin Clark following the completed investigation. The entire probe turned out to be unfounded, with many pointing fingers at Angel Reese as potentially responsible for initiating it. While these remain allegations, someone within the Chicago Sky organization apparently triggered this investigation.
Where is Caitlin Clark? Where is the Indiana Fever? Where is the WNBA saying that investigation there shouldn't have been an investigation? The allegations were false. Where's the apology? It hasn't happened. It's disappointing as someone who is.
The inquiry lasted approximately 10 days, with extensive evidence demonstrating that no inappropriate comments were made. The WNBA officially confirmed these findings, declaring the accusations completely false. No offensive language was directed toward Angel Reese or anyone on the Chicago Sky bench, leaving those who made the claims appearing foolish. Though the investigation concluded roughly a week ago, Indiana Senator Jim Banks has remained vocal about the situation. Banks maintains his position that Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky organization owe apologies to Indiana Fever supporters.
Yeah, my daughters are fans of the team. They've gone to games to see Caitlin Clark. It's so demeaning to our state and to the fan base to go through something like that. The least they can do is apologize to the fans.
Reports indicate that Banks believes Indiana Fever fans deserve formal apologies from Chicago Sky player Angel Reese, the Fever organization, and the WNBA itself. This follows the league's determination that no evidence supported claims of hateful speech occurring near the court during the Fever season opener at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
So that was Jim Banks, man, pretty much saying it's making their state look bad, bro. And I gotta kind of agree with him, dog, without an apology from anybody, pretty much saying they're kind of making the Indiana Fever, at least the state of Indiana and the fans there, look kind of suspicious, man. Now, consistently with which you land on the wrong side of things, this one comment stated, the pressure process worked as it should. I don't know what do you mean by that.
Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are set to face Angel Reese this coming Saturday in their next matchup. The game will occur in Chicago. Clark remains injured currently, but is expected to address media representatives sometime today regarding her condition. The WNBA's investigation examined the reported incident thoroughly. On May 27th, the league officially dismissed the accusations after reviewing game footage and collecting information from fans, teams, and arena personnel. Banks shared his thoughts on social media following this announcement.
Oh, look, it's keep the politics out of sports crowd. They be going hard, bro. Jim Banks making Richard Murdoch look good. Do we even know who Angel Reese is? WNBA players need to realize CC brings in over 25% of the profit to the league, not just the Fever. CC and NBA is the reason players are getting paid, and seeing Reese and other players need to realize CC is their bread and butter, and I have to agree with that comment 130%. Man,
during an appearance on Outkick, Banks expressed his frustration with the situation. He emphasized how Angel Reese accused Indiana Fever supporters of racist behavior, yet the investigation proved these allegations were completely false. Banks argued that the minimum Reese could do would be apologizing to their state and the fans who attend games, acknowledging her error. Banks questioned why the Indiana Fever hasn't apologized to their own supporters for subjecting them to such serious accusations. He described these as terrible allegations that proved untrue, noting that fans weren't shouting racial slurs at Angel Reese or other opposing players. The senator expressed disappointment in the lack of response from key parties. He wondered where Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and the WNBA stand regarding whether this investigation should have occurred at all, given the false nature of the allegations. Banks emphasized that no apology has been forthcoming, which he finds deeply disappointing.
Caitlin Clark is definitely the reason behind a lot of this stuff. Now, just like I stated, Caitlin Clark is scheduled to speak to the media today. Scott Agnes kind of reported on this late last night. He stated this. Let's head on over to his X account here. Pull it up. He said Caitlin Clark is scheduled to speak with reporters on Thursday to provide an update on her status recovery after being sidelined with the left quad strain.
As someone whose daughters support the team and have attended games to watch Caitlin Clark, Banks described the situation as demeaning to their state and fan base. He believes the absolute minimum these organizations could do is apologize to the fans who endured this ordeal. Banks essentially argued that without any apologies, the situation makes the Indiana Fever, the state of Indiana, and local fans appear questionable. Various social media responses emerged, with some criticizing the mixing of politics and sports, while others supported Banks's position. One comment highlighted how Caitlin Clark generates over 25% of the league's profits, not just for the Fever, but for the entire WNBA. The observation noted that Clark is the primary reason players receive increased compensation, suggesting that Reese and other players should recognize Clark as essential to their financial success. Caitlin Clark is scheduled to meet with reporters today to provide updates on her recovery status after missing the past 3 games due to a left quad strain. Scott Agnes reported this development, noting his absence due to NBA Finals coverage.
The past 3 games. And he won't be there because we know the NBA currently got a thing going on, which is the finals, man. So at some point today, Caitlin Clark will be speaking to the media.
In related news, Damiris Dantas will be departing the team for 4 games. This departure has generated significant discussion about the unusual nature of such mid-season absences. The Fever anticipated Dantas would miss 4 games in late June and early July as she travels to Chile to compete in the AmeriCup with Brazil's national team. The tournament runs from June 28th through July 6th, though she will depart several days before competition begins.
It's getting even worse. Their best offensive player, Camila Cardoso, is about to not be around. For the same reason, Damiris Dantas is going to be gone from the Indiana Fever. Yikes. I like Dantas a lot, to be honest with you. I think she should be part of this really and truly more shift towards a youth movement, energy, knocks down big shots, etc., etc. But Angel Reese has lost ESPN. They have officially jumped off of the Angel Reese bandwagon.
This situation raises questions about overseas players leaving mid-season to play for other teams. Such arrangements appear uncommon in other professional sports, where players typically cannot abandon their contracted teams during active seasons to compete elsewhere. The practice seems unusual compared to NBA standards or even collegiate athletics.
ESPN being forced to come to grips with Angel Reese's 2025 performance. And we know it's bad, folks. It's bad. Yeah, believe it or not, she's still averaging a double-double. A completely meaningless double-double. And as you've heard me say countless times on this team, when Angel Reese, generally speaking, gets a double-double, the team loses. I mean, why? Because of inefficiency. You can't be snatching up me-bounds all the time, getting them me-bounds.
Where players cannot simply leave their teams mid-season to play for different organizations. Concerns exist about potential injuries occurring while under contract with WNBA team. Games Dantas will likely miss include June 26th against the Los Angeles Sparks, June 27th versus the Dallas Wings, July 3rd against the Las Vegas Aces, and July 5th facing the Los Angeles Sparks again. July features an extended stretch of home games, suggesting she may return for some of those contests.
And hitting shots off your own misses, your team's not going to win that way. I mean, that's all there is to it. The Chicago Sky have not had the start to the 2025 WNBA season that they were hoping for. We thought they were going to be terrible before the season started. I don't know what we're talking about here. Well, Chicago has a 2-4 record. These 2 wins came in.
Roberto reported this development, noting that both Camila Cardoso of the Chicago Sky and Dantas made the AmeriCup roster. Both players are confirmed to participate in the competition taking place from June 28th through July 6th in Santiago, Chile, and will miss WNBA games during that period. The situation highlights unique aspects of WNBA scheduling and international competition that differ significantly from other major professional sports leagues. These mid-season departures for national team duties create create interesting dynamics for team management and player availability during critical parts of the season. ESPN has shifted its coverage regarding Angel Reese, marking a significant change from their previous supportive stance. The network, which previously engaged in extensive efforts to promote Reese throughout the season, now acknowledges her struggling performance amid what has been a challenging WNBA campaign filled with more disappointments than successes. Recent analysis reveals Reese holds the league's worst layup shooting percentage at 31%, despite attempting the third most layups in the WNBA. This statistic appears particularly concerning for a 6'4" power forward position player. The situation becomes more complicated as Reese may soon transition to center due to roster changes affecting the Chicago Sky. The team faces additional challenges with Camila Cardoso, their top offensive contributor, preparing for an extended absence similar to Damiris Dantas's departure from the Indiana Fever. This development could force further positional adjustments and strategic changes for the struggling franchise. ESPN has been compelled to reassess Angel Reese's 2025 performance objectively. Despite maintaining double-double statistics, these numbers appear largely meaningless given the team's poor results. Historical patterns show that Chicago Sky typically loses games when Reese achieves double-double performances, highlighting efficiency concerns rather than celebrating raw statistical output.
In their most two recent games, both of which came against the Dallas Wings squad, might be hard-pressed to win 10 contests this season. Yeah, the Dallas Wings are terrible. And the eye test shows that the Sky aren't keeping up with the league's top teams when it comes to cohesion and overall efficiency on offense. Where have we heard that before? Right here. Which suggests Chicago's struggles could persist.
The fundamental issue stems from ineffective shot selection and poor conversion rates. Constantly collecting rebounds from personal misses and struggling with basic shooting fundamentals prevents team success. This approach creates a cycle where individual statistics mask overall team performance deficiencies. The Chicago Sky entered the 2025 WNBA season with low expectations, which have largely materialized. Currently holding a 2-4 record, their two victories came against the Dallas Wings, widely considered among the league's weakest teams.
What's for sure is that the team's success hinges on the performance of Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, their duo of young forwards. I'm going to say forward and center. ESPN has made a ranking of each of the WNBA team's roster core in a June 5th article. While one might imagine that Reese and Cardoso would put the Sky in the top 3 in this ranking, really? I wouldn't think so. ESPN placed them at 7. That's exactly about where they ought to be.
Projections suggest Chicago may struggle to reach 10 wins this season. Observable analysis indicates the Sky cannot compete with elite teams regarding cohesion and offensive efficiency. These fundamental issues suggest ongoing struggles throughout the season rather than temporary setbacks that might resolve naturally. Team success depends heavily on the performance of Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, their young front court pairing. However, current production levels from this duo fall short of championship or playoff expectations. ESPN recently published rankings of WNBA team cores in a June 5th article. Despite expectations that Reese and Cardoso might place Chicago among the top 3, ESPN ranked them 7th. This positioning accurately reflects current performance levels and may even be generous considering observable weaknesses. The ranking appears justified based on Reese's declining performance metrics. ESPN noted that Chicago possessed one of the most productive under-25 cores last season between rookies Reese and Cardoso, but inconsistency from both players has created confusion in advanced metrics while contributing to the team's difficult 2025 start. ESPN's Neil Payne highlighted the contrasting trajectories of both players. Cardoso has demonstrated clear improvement in her offensive game, increasing her scoring average from 9.8 to 12.8 points per game while showing better shooting efficiency and passing skills. Her development represents a positive aspect of Chicago's young core.
Maybe even lower. ESPN placed them at 7, and Reese's performance this season seems to be the main reason why. Whoo-wee. Quote, the Sky had one of the most productive 25 and under cores in the league last season between rookies Reese and Cardoso. But some inconsistency from Reese and Cardoso also confounded advanced matrix and the team's rough start in 2025.
Conversely, Reese has underperformed significantly compared to previous seasons. While maintaining her status as one of the league's top rebounders, her shooting percentage has dropped dramatically from 39.1% last season to 31.3% currently. This decline represents a substantial regression in fundamental basketball skills. Despite acknowledging the small sample size and Chicago's potential for improvement, ESPN's assessment clearly identifies Reese's shooting struggles as the primary concern. The analysis suggests that improved scoring efficiency from Reese would benefit both her individual performance and Chicago's overall success prospects. The most effective solution would involve coaching staff limiting Reese's shot attempts to approximately 6 or 7 per game maximum. This approach would prevent excessive shot volume while allowing focus on skill development and role optimization within team structure. Current shot selection patterns show Reese attempting double-digit shots regularly, which undermines team efficiency given her poor conversion rates. Restricting attempts until fundamental improvements occur would benefit both individual and team performance metrics. Reese demonstrates occasional competency with mid-range shots, suggesting some offensive potential exists. However, her interior game requires significant improvement before expanding shot attempts makes strategic sense.
Are actually basketball fans. I think they're fans of the social media side, the influencer side, the podcaster, blah, blah, blah. And let's be honest, there's nobody making videos out there, at least to my knowledge, and if they are, they're idiots, promoting the fact that Angel Reese just scored 10 points and had 11 rebounds on 29% shooting from the field while the team loses. I don't think they're celebrating, at least, well, maybe they are. I mean, some of her fans online will celebrate that, and that's a putrid performance. I don't give a rip if it is technically a double-double. And then, of course, it seems like anytime there is content to make on Angel Reese, is it ever, I mean,
a recent performance against Dallas Wings exemplified optimal production: 6 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists. This statistical line represents the type of contribution Reese should target consistently rather than pursuing higher volume, lower efficiency outputs. Such production levels would position Reese as a 4th or 5th option on competitive teams, potentially even a 6th player role. This positioning aligns with current skill levels and could maximize team success while allowing individual development. The shift in ESPN's coverage represents a significant development given their previous promotional efforts. The network invested considerable resources positioning Reese as comparable to other elite players over the past year. This change in narrative suggests recognition of performance realities rather than continued promotional messaging. When major media supporters acknowledge performance concerns, it typically indicates widespread recognition of fundamental issues requiring attention. This situation presents an opportunity for honest self-assessment and skill development rather than continued promotion of ineffective playing styles. Potential solutions include working with experienced post players during off seasons to develop interior fundamentals. Given Reese's connections within basketball circles, accessing high-level instruction should be feasible if commitment exists. Without significant improvement, alternative career paths may become more attractive. The emerging unrivaled league offers substantial compensation, reportedly around $200,000 $240,000 annually, potentially combined with media and podcasting opportunities.
She acts like a total idiot. After Caitlin Clark gives her a common foul, she goes after Caitlin Clark. Then she plays along with a race hoax, leading to a WNBA investigation. Then she almost got her face smeared completely off by Nalissa Smith the other day. Again, if I'm Angel Reese, I wouldn't be bowing up to Nalissa Smith, for crying out loud. Bad idea. This all leads us to the actual game Saturday. And guys, ticket prices for this game.
This scenario raises questions about future WNBA participation. If alternative revenue streams prove more lucrative and less demanding than traditional professional basketball careers, the landscape of women's professional basketball continues evolving with new opportunities and financial structures. The upcoming Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever matchup scheduled for Saturday presents a nationally televised game with significant implications for ticket pricing and fan interest. Caitlin Clark will be absent from this contest while Angel Reese is expected to participate for the Sky. However, ticket demand patterns reveal striking insights about fan preferences and market dynamics. Examination of ticket pricing suggests limited enthusiasm exists among Chicago area fans to witness Angel Reese compete against the Fever without Clark's presence. This phenomenon raises questions about the nature of certain player fan bases and whether supporters primarily follow basketball performance or social media personalities and influencer content. Recent performances highlight ongoing concerns about celebrating statistical achievements that don't translate to team success. Double-double statistics achieved through poor shooting efficiency, while teams lose games, represent questionable accomplishments worthy of scrutiny rather than celebration. Various incidents have shaped public perceptions surrounding certain players. These include confrontational behavior following routine fouls, participation in controversial investigations, and physical altercations with other players. Such patterns contribute to negative storylines that overshadow basketball performance.